My name is Mindy Holcomb. This is my major presentation on electronic learning trends, digital storytelling. What is digital storytelling? It's a short form of digital media production that allows everyday people to share aspects of their life story. Digital stories can vary in length and have a multitude of purposes. There's digital documentaries, digital essays, electronic memoirs, interactive storytelling, and we can continue to go on and on. But nevertheless, digital stories are an art form utilizing computer-based tools to tell a story. The tools used can vary from graphics, audio, text, music, video clips, and much, much more. Now, the tools you need to build a digital story include script editor, audio editor, image editor, and video editor. Because the types of tools are endless, we will go over the tools that are of ease to use and lower in cost if not free. With the script editor, you can simply use any word processor, or you can use Google Docs to assist you with your story. For an audio editor, you will need a microphone or a USB microphone, and you can simply go to audioexpert.com, and they have free online audio editing. And thirdly, we have image editor. You'll need a digital still camera or a scanner for this one. You can also go to www.online-image-editor.com to get free online image editing. For video editing, you'll need a digital video camera. However, this is optional. But you can go to www.loopster.com for free video editing as well. Now, many computers today already have the capabilities to do all the editing themselves. However, in case your computer does not have those capabilities, you are have those capabilities with the software such as Audio Record Wizard or Photoshop, Elements, or Microsoft Movie Maker, then you can certainly go to those websites for assistance in creating your own digital story. And there's 7 elements that help you create a quality digital story. There's the point of view, the dramatic question, emotional content, the gift of your voice, power of soundtrack, economy, and pace. Your point of view is your main focus in the story. It's your author's perception. And then the dramatic question is just going to be a component that keeps your viewers' attention for the duration of the story. And that question would be the answer to that question would be revealed by the end of the story. And thirdly, we have emotional content, and you'll find that this is what connects the viewers of your digital story to your story. And fourth, we have the gift of your voice. And it just simply, you can personalize your story and guide your audience's understanding just by using your voice. The fifth element is power of soundtrack. And soundtracks are great. They can emphasize or guide your audiences through the story. They're good at supporting a scene. However, it's very important that you use your soundtrack correctly, because it can be distracting to your audience if it's not done correctly and relevant to your story. Now, the sixth element was economy. In economy, makes a powerful punch, basically. You want to make a powerful punch and tell your story without overwhelming your audience, without giving them unnecessary information that's not needed for the story. Pace. And pace is the rhythm in which your story flows in. Excuse me. You want to try not to drag out certain parts of your story while flying through others. It needs to have a nice cohesion and thread throughout the entire story. Now that we have gone over the software tools and the elements needed to create your own digital story, let's look at a few websites that are great for first-time digital story makers. There were 5 that I picked from, but there are tons and tons of digital storytelling websites that will help you create your own. But the 5 I picked were Digital Films, Myths and Legends, Extra Normal, My Story Maker, and Storybird. Out of these 5, my favorite was Myth and Legends. Simply because, first, it was user-friendly for someone who's not tech-savvy. And secondly, you can create a story for free. And thirdly, there is an area that is specifically designed for teachers, and it includes curriculum mapping and supports educational agendas. And this area for teachers may have charges. However, you can navigate and explore through the website to see if the cost is compatible with if the benefit and the cost are equal. When entering the website, you will click on the right to pick out your scene, your character, your text, and you may also include narration and sound effects. However, I did come to find out when I was working on my own digital story that sound effects and narration came with a cost. But you can go through and resize and rotate your characters, and also your text bubbles and your scenes. And you're able to have many scenes as well. And after going through your storyboard, you can preview your digital story before saving it. Once again, you would be charged for saving it and having it for yourself. But then again, it was great for a first-time user to get familiar with ideas and thoughts about what you need to include in your storyboard. Now that we've looked at what digital storytelling is, how we can create it ourselves, and the tools that we need to create it ourselves, my next thought and question was, how can we use this in education? As I researched, I looked at it from the teacher's perspective as well as the student's perspective. In the teacher's position, I looked at it as a tool that we could use for introducing new material to students to captivate their attention. It would increase their curiosity in subject matter, and we could also use it as a way to archive lesson plans for substitute teachers when absent, or when the teachers themselves are unable to demonstrate activities. Especially in physical education, I thought that would be a great idea because teachers have illnesses and medical conditions all the time where they're not able to perform activities. And so while we are working and demonstrating, why not set up a video and start making clips so that we can create our own digital stories for our classes. The second thing I thought about was the student side, and I realized that being a student myself right now, that you can use them to do research projects and presentations. Digital stories that I was able to research on the web We're very knowledgeable in all kinds of content matter. You can find digital stories relating to history, to science, to health. It just goes on, and you're really limitless in topic content as far as digital stories goes. The second thing I thought, why not in your upper grades actually have your students create digital stories to do class presentations. Basically just like we're doing in our class presentation. We're doing research, we've looked for everything, and then we're using technology to distribute that knowledge to our peers. And not only learning the content needed for the presentation, but also learning the technological ways to present that information as well. That's just really killing two birds with one stone. So in education, digital storytelling is going to be, if not currently, the new wave in the classroom. There are typically only 2 to 10 minutes. That helps with keeping your students' attention spans, and research has come to show that the use of multimedia assists students in learning difficult material, and it also aids in retention of the material. So we're also meeting our core standards by integrating technology in our classroom. Now let's look at a video that I found online on YouTube that shows a young lady who is a teacher candidate herself, just like we are, and she's talking about the necessities of using technology in her classroom.
In what ways has education changed for you? Imagine your first grade classroom. What comes to mind? Dusty chalkboards, a desk full of textbooks, and a room filled with games and toys that could entertain a young student for hours upon hours. Now picture a classroom today. Chalkboards replaced with fancy projectors, textbooks replaced with the touch of a mouse, and so many other endless, new, and advanced technologies that have consumed all free time of the modern student. Education has transformed to a realm of technology and is continuing to evolve and further change. As I prepare myself to become a teacher in this ever-changing profession, I must also prepare myself to be open and accepting to all kinds of new technological changes and inventions. In my own classroom, I will need to adapt to all sorts of up-and-coming ways, means, and processes that will all in all stimulate my students more and spark more interest in their minds, not only from my teaching, but more importantly, about learning in general. The choices I make as a teacher in the future will affect each and every student I teach. That is why I must do everything in my power to make their experience as up-to-date and modern as possible. By doing this, no student will have to backtrack from the technology that they have grown up with and grown accustomed to using each and every day. Why make my students unlearn when I can simply learn more? Just like our world's endless evolving technology, there are no limits on how much one can learn either. Learning is limitless, and I will remind myself of these words each and every day as I make my way into the career of education.